welcome to the first episode of whatever this shit is. So recently I've been playing a couple of games, Brigand Oaxaca and Ditty of Carmiana as well recently, and they've been great games. In fact, I think they're some of the most it's some of the most fun I've ever had in games in ages. Which is weird because they're not that well programmed. They run on outdated engines, they're janky as all hell, they have, the graphics look like absolute arse, they don't even have shadows, but I still enjoy them. Simply because it's just a passion thing, I guess. You can always tell when a developer has passion for a game. Brigand Oaxaca, 77 Pence Egg Wife, the Ditty of Carmiana, Postal 2, Blood and Bacon, and Jamie's Mod. They're small development teams that wanted to create something that was fun, comedic, and enjoyable. And you can tell simply because, well, for one, it actually is fun and enjoyable, but secondly, because you can tell that it's a small development team. Things like, text is made out of photos, sounds from some random online libraries, weird in-jokes, stupid humor and jokes at the game's expense, add a lot of charm that I think a lot of AAA games lack nowadays. I think the problem is that a lot of AAA game developers nowadays are too afraid to stray from that one kind of area of jokes. You know the one. The one where they constantly, just go, "Whoa, did that just happen?" Now somebody might ask, does a game need to be well programmed to be enjoyable? And I have to say, no, of course not, no. I have played games that are incredibly well polished, but just fucking boring to play. And I've also played games that are basically held together by sticks, by popsicle sticks and, gum. And they're still really fun to play. Once again, Brigand Oaxaca. When I was playing Fallout 4, I know that shit's glitchy as all hell, but it's still more professional than, of course, Brigand Oaxaca. Because, it's made by a big AAA company. But I didn't like it. It just felt very meh. I don't know why. Recently I've noticed that a lot of the time, I need to get a haircut. Recently I've noticed that this kind of genre of games has gotten smaller over time, and I think that's mostly because graphical and technical expectations of gamers are so high. So many times people are just not going to be accepting of a game that looks a bit weird because it doesn't have fucking ray tracing shit or whatever. My belief is that games should be made as games, not as technical showcases, unless you're like Valve or some shit, who can make some fucking great technical showcases. There's a child's shoe there. I think, to me, at least, part of the fun of janky games is just seeing what weird bullshit comes next. So, Brigand Oaxaca just has a fucking insane story. In my playthrough at least, I went from working for Uncle Bob to killing Ricardo, joining a fucking terrorist group, and then God knows what else. It's weird, but I love it. 77p Egg Wife, same kind of deal. The weapons are just insane. You start off with you get a nail gun, you think, okay, standard SMG replacement, then you can pick up a second one, okay, cool, akimbo wielding, then you get a third one, you can triple wield them. It makes no sense, but it's fun as fuck, and of course the levels just get constantly weirder. Yeah, the Ditty of Carmiana just has also has all these weird and wacky effects as well. Because you think about it for a while and you just realise how just insane some of it gets. Like, you know, when you die, you visit death himself, and he, you know, he's a hippie. It's great as all hell. Like, Postal 2 errands, they just go wrong in weird and unique ways. Blood and Bacon has this great thing where, like, the farmer talks to you before each mission, and he has different lines for almost every day, I think, for like 100 days, and that is insane to me. They had to go and record like 100 lines for this game. And it's just a massive amount of effort. Alright, that's part 1 of this shit done, because I've reached the servo. Back to what I was saying, yeah, I think janky games can a lot of the time be more enjoyable than big polished games, simply because, well, as long as the developer has passion, you can always just kind of tell. I don't know how to describe it other than you can just tell. It's weird pseudo-science bullshit, but you know what I'm saying, right? You can just kind of tell that a developer had a vision and they made it just however they fucking wanted. They didn't care if it was janky, if it was broken, if it wasn't up to AAA standards, they just made that fucking thing. And I think that's just what's really great about the independent scene. So back on the topic of, like, gamers having high expectations, because, like, the thing is, you think about high expectations, like, we have so many big game engines. You know, we've got, you know, Unity, Unreal, all that shit, and they're so complex, and, you know, we've got the asset marketplace as well, and we've just basically got a huge amount of shit, where it just kind of, I don't know how to describe it other than it's just kind of meh. Because I feel like a lot of the charm of janky games comes from 1 or 5 people trying to do a thing that a 20-person team should do. Like, I was also playing, what's its name? Paranoia. Like, I love it when you can just look at the textures of things and you can just tell, like, the developer just took a photo of, like, an iron or some shit and used that as their texture. It's great. Because to me it's a reminder that there are actual people and things behind this game. Like, people actually did things. Like, sure, nowadays we may be able to photo scan Tobey Maguire, is that his name? We may be able to photo scan him in, but other than the fact that, you know, it's him, there's not much of a reminder in AAA games that there are people behind it other than looking at the overwhelming list of credits. And even then, that is just... I've seen developers get excluded from the credits for absolutely ridiculous reasons. And even, like, demanding extra pay or being part of a union. It's fucked up. But yeah, I think, to me at least, the idea of just making a game. So many people have, like, you know, big expectations because they've looked at, you know, all the big AAA releases with hundreds upon thousands of people working on them. And of course they think, there's no way I can match up to that. And so they just don't make a game. And that fucking sucks, because I bet a lot of people out there have great ideas. It's just that they aren't willing to have their game look a bit shit. Look, a bird. He's about to swim at me. So I hope that makes sense, because at the moment I'm just going on a fucking deranged rant. Oh look, another bird. How you doing, pal? You know, if you want to make a game, just fucking make one. Don't give a shit about the graphical quality. Because the people who play games based on their graphical quality, like, you know, just like the people who, you know, care if it's got ray tracing or fucking, you know, the photo scans of famous actors' faces in them, those people aren't really going to be the ones who are interested in playing your game. I think at least, if you have the time and you have the know-how, make a fucking game. Don't know what engine to use? Just spin a wheel, choose one. Do your research, give them a go, fuck around, find out. That's my general philosophy for games. Fuck around, find out. So that's my thoughts on jank in games. Like, subscribe, I don't know how the fuck to do this shit. I feel like this. It's a trash can. That's what I am at the moment.